Hey everyone, it's Becky from Patchworkers Plus, which is my online quilt group, and I thought I would kind of talk to you about like changing directions with your quilts and being okay with it. So there's this quilt hanging behind me that I have been working on, and it is for the membership next year. So, which is actually this year, today, right now. So, 2025, this is the block of the month. And I have been designing this, I'm going to say, for like, what, 6 months? Because I like to come up with the designs before the end of the year. I like to do a big launch and say, we're so excited. This quilt is coming out and you're going to love it, because every year it's different. I don't tend to have like a super modern aesthetic or a more traditional aesthetic. I'm really a mixed bag over here. I like to use what I have, and I don't have a clear, defined style. So even after quilting for what, over 25 years, still there's no solid design. And I love to pick up fat quarters here and there, as well as groups of fabric that just catch my eye and inspire me. And so this quilt has just been hard. I don't know why. And so I'm so late in showing it off and telling what it's about and all the things that go along with it. The launch for the membership is coming up. This coming week, I'm going to be doing Plan and Review Your Year. I always do it every year. And it is such a good thing to kind of look back and see what you have finished, what you've worked on, what you maybe not have finished, but you're still interested in finishing, and looking ahead and what the plans are for next year, as well as, of course, giving you a personal invitation to join me during 2025 to sew on this quilt, as well as participate in the workshops, swaps, and everything else that we have going on inside the membership. So today, I had some time yesterday. I'm just at this deadline of I am going to be revealing this next week. I need the materials list next week. I need some good pictures of this next week. And so it is time to really buckle down and pay attention to what I'm doing, what I'm designing. If I don't like it, what is going to happen? I need to change it. If I don't like it, I need to change it. Have you ever been in that situation before? Have you ever looked at something and you're like, I just don't like it? It's been a little bit of time, and maybe this coming year I'll put it on the calendar to do an orphan project challenge. But that's kind of like what that is about, is looking, one of the steps is looking at what you have finished, and are you actually wanting it to look like the original design? Or are you going to take what you have and put together something that you are happy with? And I'm going to start using this term a little bit more, but it's practically perfect. So none of my quilts are perfect. I sew on a Juki. I sew fast. And I love to just zip through all the parts, all the pieces, and move on to the next step. And so I am practically perfect. And occasionally I will unpick to make things right. But I'm usually pretty okay with being practically perfect. And so that's what this quilt is about. Now, if you didn't know this, I have the membership. Not only that, I'm hitting the 10-year anniversary in 2025 as well. I have been running this membership for 10 years. And I love these women dearly that are in the group. Every month we get together for show and tell, and we get to see each other in our homes and see our faces and see the progress that we've made. We share our quilt blocks, we share our gifts that we've been giving to charity and to friends and to family, and we get to share the progress of our block in the months as well as our mystery quilt that we do in the fall. It is such a delight and really truly one of the things that I really do look forward to is chatting and laughing and just building these friendships with people that are everywhere. And in fact, this last year, I was able to, in the spring, meet up with 4 members on a quilt cruise that I got to teach on. And I am teaching another quilt cruise in August of 2025 to Alaska. So you can check that out. I think it might be sold out. So that just means that I have a retreat in Texas, in Stitch in Heaven, that I am putting together with my friend Stacy from Stacy Lee Creative, and we are hosting an in-person retreat then. So if you can't join me for the cruise because it's a little bit too much money, join me for the retreat. I'll put a link in the description. But let's get back to this quilt right here and what I decided to do. So with the 10-year anniversary, I asked the members, what are your favorite quilt blocks? What represents something, a memory, triggers a memory, or what do you love about this? And so I got these suggestions. And so I kind of played around with those inside some block frames. And actually, I made a lot of blocks. Here we go. Here's the blocks that are not in the quilt. They're all sewn. Of course, these are going to be set aside, and maybe if I do the Orphan Project Challenge next year, this is going to be happening or finishing for next year. But for now, I set them aside. I went back to EQ because that's where I design in, and I played around with the blocks and the layouts and looked at some different options. And I was like, I really like On Point with the blocks in the style that I have. And while the fabric that I chose may be a contributor of confusion for me, I should have maybe chosen a different background and not used the fabric that was in there for the background because 1, I ran out and so I've had to substitute. And 2, I really like the substitution that I used, and so in the end I should have really looked at that and determined I'm going to put the background in certain spots because I had fat quarters of them, but I didn't have quite enough yardage for the whole overall quilt, especially since I made all of these blocks and they didn't actually get put into the quilt. So I'm going to, like usually, so I have shared this quilt in a different design already. It is in the membership. It's like the materials list is coming. This is what we're making. It's got this beautiful border and I am going to scrap it. And so this is what I am going to do for this coming year. Actually, for this year, 2025. I do have it on my design wall, so it's just a little tricky to get this all in. So this is what I have now that I am really kind of excited about. I know this isn't my usual video that I put out for tutorials, but this has been bothering me and I just had to share it. And you guys are getting the first look at this quilt. So let me point out that I am using some of the blocks. So here's one, and there's another one. And then I've got another one and the 4th one in the corner. And so I am using those blocks, just 4 of the 8 that I sewed together. Also, here is the new background, and I just put this right on top of another square that I've got that I'm going to be replacing with. So yeah, I don't have my blocks sewn together. Also in the pattern, we're going to make 2 different blocks. So then these are going to be alternating backgrounds, or not backgrounds, but alternating colors so you don't end up with a solid square. I guess if you want that, you could do that, but yeah, it's going to turn out to be a little bit different. I did make all of my four corners. I love the scrappy box borders that's happening. So here are the favorite blocks, and I don't have them all done. Obviously, I've got little spaces here. The center is the friendship star. I've got the basket block. I've got the traditional star block. And I do have the snail's trail here. However, that one might be changed out for something different. And then what I am missing is a Sunbonnet Sue was mentioned. Oh, and a flower block. So I have the flower block, but I don't have that finished yet. And so, but what this does is this layout lends itself to 9.5-inch blocks. So inside, say for example, the center one, that pinwheel is 9.5 inches. And so if you don't like the pinwheel, you can choose a 9.5-inch block on your own and sew it, and it will fit perfectly. Not only that, but if you want to go scrappy and you are digging through your blocks that are left over from other projects and you have some that are 9.5 inches unfinished, this is absolutely perfect for it because you can stick those in. So the four corners are the star. They're like 5440 fight blocks. What is that? Anyways, it's that block. So there's 4 of those. And then there are 9 of these blocks that have the 9.5-inch centers. And so I put the friendship star in the center because the membership is all about building friendships really on top of quilting. And then I put the chain, they're Irish chain blocks, these kind of 4 setting ones, which again, those can be traded out for something else. But I put the chain, Irish chain there because we are all connected. So our friendship is in the center, and then the quilting connects us. So a little bit sentimental, a little bit reflective of the year. This is very different from the original. All right, I'm not a super technical person, so I'm just going to hold this right up to my computer screen, and hopefully it's clear enough. This was the original design. And while I loved it, after I started sewing everything, I just was not feeling it. And so therefore, I didn't ever finish it. And it caused me lots and lots of pausing, ignoring, waiting. And so I started exploring a bunch of other layouts. So I thought maybe it was the borders, and so I tried a few different types of borders, but then I still wasn't digging that. So so then I started exploring on point, and that is where this layout came. So I'm actually a little sad that I didn't choose this one. However, I'm really kind of pleased with how this one is turning out, a little bit of the meanings behind it, the flexibility that it gives anybody sewing this, the option of adding some blocks that they might have on hand already that aren't put into a finished project yet. And, you know, it just represents 10 years with these members. And so I have a link in the description. You can join me for the Plan and Review Your Year, as well as get that private invitation to join me during 2025, the year of celebrations. We're going to be celebrating birthdays, we're going to be celebrating our anniversary, and we get to celebrate every single member at our show and tells and our Golden Ginger Awards, as well as our planning events to help us come up with support and accountability and encouragement and inspiration for sewing on projects that maybe we've started a long time ago or would like to start this year, and as well as finish them. So check the link in the description. But I do have this question. Have you ever done this? I know as quilters, we have the tendency to kind of like start things and feel the obligation to finish them. And this one has really put me through the ringer because I have missed my deadlines. I have missed new members coming into the membership before the end of the year. And so I'm kind of I feel crammed and rushed, but then also excited. I have sewn more in the last 2 days, yesterday and today, in quite a while because I love the layout. Now, while I'm still struggling a little bit with the fabric that I chose for it, so I might have to make a second version in a different fabric line. I really am enjoying with how this is turning out. So I am missing still a few blocks in here because I need to sew them, but by the time I do the plan and review your year, you are going to see this quilted, bound, and beautiful. So please, please come for that reveal, but also let us help you review what you have finished, accomplished, feel good about yourself, and be inspired to sew this year with me. So I think that's it. Feel free to leave a comment. What do you think about the quilt? What are your projects that you have totally revamped, totally redone, and you love the decision you made, but also how it turned out as well? I am excited about showing this off, as well as, you know, hearing your stories and your quilting journey on this kind of like weird, awkward topic. And it's a little embarrassing as well, but I am excited with the direction that it's going now.